This episode of Outdoor Journal Radio is brought to you in part by the Invasive Species Centre, protecting Canada's land and water from invasive species. Freedom Cruise Canada, rent the boat, own the memories. And J&B Cycle & Marine, your home for all things power sports, boats, and equipment.
Yeah, baby.
They are cheering it. They're cheering us from everywhere, buddy.
They wrote that song for these shows right here. Let me tell you, mister. It's kind of weird having you like next to me like that. I kind of like you way over there.
You, come on. You want me right in the same seat as you.
Oh, yeah. I want to rub up against you.
Like Siamese twins. We're like Siamese twins, bro.
Welcome to the program. Outdoor Journal Radio, the podcast. On the road again, as the song would imply.
Come on now.
For those that can hear it.
For those who can hear it. Because some
YouTubers are not going to be hearing that.
If you're on YouTube, you didn't hear anything.
You didn't hear it. Sorry about the silencio. It was
I'm Angelo Bell. He is Peter Bowman. That's Dino, our illustrious producer. And over there we have our two production folks, Walleye and Nick.
Look at them. Going nuts.
They're on the
there.
road again. They've been on the road again for years.
Very special guest today, too. He's milling about, but he's running away right now. But we're going to get him back. Don't you worry.
Ted Putnam will be joining us soon from Hawk Lake Lodge because, kids, what you see behind us is nothing short of a little piece of heaven. It's called Hawk Lake in Northwestern Ontario, and we have been saying it for years, and we're going to show you exactly what we mean on the Fishing Canada episode that we'll be producing from this shoot.
Correct.
We're going to show you why this is the walleye capital of the world, bar none.
You want a big old walleye? This is the lake to come to for sure.
But I'm sure Mr. Putnam will have all kinds of things to tell us about that.
We're in Sunset Country, by the way, in Ontario here, right? Northwestern Ontario is called Sunset Country. We'll give Jerry a little plug there.
Apparently, Mr. Putnam is going to give us the question of the week.
I can't wait.
Now. Brought to you by fishfindermouse.com.
Come on now.
Sure is.
Mr. Putnam, I can only imagine what his question's going to be. I think it'll be a good one. Teddy's good, man. He's a beast.
Depending on the happy hour situation. Is it a happy hour?
No, but we could probably make it. Teddy can call happy hour anytime he wants.
That's
right?
true, too.
You know that, right? So
unlike the regular on the road again podcast, this one will be loosely formatted. We won't have the usual stuff, but we do have to mention one thing, and that is fishingcanada.com, the gateway, the portal to your next fishing adventure. And once there,
you might pick up a little merch, a little bit of swag maybe while you're at it. And if you don't go there, you could go to shop.fishingcanada.com if you want to just, go
straight to the buying part.
Yeah.
I like that when they do that.
Yeah, well, you know what? Or go both, right?
Why not? Some of the lovely garments you'll see, we are sporting one style of them right here. Beautiful Fishing Canada. Wear it loud and wear it proud, folks. If you don't have it.
The boys are wearing the old school thing right now. Volva's wearing a nice, beautiful little, I don't even know if we're selling that
little dressy number.
Yeah.
A little dressy
Look at him. It's a handsome package, I'll tell you.
So we've had the pleasure of being up here for a few days now, and a couple of things I have to point out. First of all.
Yes, sir. Do say.
First of all, I have to reiterate that this may be the finest. Forget this for a moment, if you could ever forget Hawk Lake. But if you could put Hawk Lake away and transport this structure over to my left and put it on any other body of water, it would still be the legendary Hawk Lake Lodge. I don't care what lake it's on.
Yeah.
To say that it's one of the finest. I hate calling it a hotel on water, but it is like being in a hotel. It's that the service is that incredible. The amenities
resort,
maybe. The amenities are beyond belief.
It's second to none. There's no skimping here with Ted and the team. Ted says, "Okay, I like that. I want that," and that's what's going to happen for everybody here. And it's that good. It really is.
Little wonder that just about anybody who is anybody in the fishing game in our industry has been here at least once.
Oh yeah,
if not more times. The legendary Al Linder was here with the crew last year.
That's how we found out about this place. I watched In Fisherman when he was back in Fisherman, I think, even. It was that long ago, and I saw Hawk Lake Lodge, and they were just catching tank walleye, and I thought, wait a minute, we got to look at this, and that's how we found it. So,
and then since then, everybody's been here. It's just an incredible place. It's just that good. The fishing now, if we want to talk about fishing, I think if you are looking, we often talk about putting yourself in the ideal position to get a trophy fish. Let's call it a walleye in this particular case. You know, whether you're following the moon phase, which we don't do enough of, or lunar tables, which we don't do enough of. Thank you. Whether you're following any of those, I know a lot of people do, and I encourage you to do that, by the way. One of the keys, though, it's not just that you need to fish the primary lunar phase or solunar phases, but you need to put yourself in an ideal spot to get that trophy fish. Yeah, and we've always thought that, hey, if we were going to follow that rule, which we don't, we need to do it on Hawk Lake. And guess what? This time we have.
Absolutely.
We've put ourselves during the full moon period, opening season, on the best walleye fishery on the planet. So we'll see what we make of it in the weeks. Actually, for you, the television audience, you won't see the net result of this for, how many months is that, do you know?
6 months.
6 months? That's it? That quickly?
Yeah.
Wow, the boys got their work cut out from editing and all
Is
that.
it almost, are we halfway through the year?
It'll be July by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
Mackerel. Okay.
Oh, my God. That's
6 months, you'll see the results of our quest here at Hay Lake Lodge. Hay Lake. Why did I say that?
You did that before, Hawk Lake Lodge. The uniqueness to Hawk Lake, too, everybody listening, those that have never visited Northwest Ontario. Northwest Ontario is obviously one of the walleye capitals of the world, the entire earth. But a lot of the lakes here you're going to catch tons of 12, 14, 16, 18-inch walleye. That's just most of the, like KB Lake, for instance. You go to KB Lake, any of the lodges there, you're going to catch 100 fish in a day. You're not going to do that here. You know, you don't concentrate on catching 100 fish. You concentrate on catching a 30-inch or bigger walleye. You know, and the chances are very good every day that you're here. You know what I mean? So some days you might only get a couple of 5-pounders or something like that. But then all of a sudden it's going to turn on. It's going to be mayhem, and just the average is big here. That's the difference with this lake. It's just big fish and pike and lake trout and smallmouth bass too. They're all big here. So
I was going to say though, so if I'm not somebody that is, in the quest for a personal best or giant fish, I just want to go out and fish and have fun.
Right.
Are you saying that this type of fishery is not necessarily where you want to be?
No, because you got smallmouth that you're going to catch 100 smallmouth in a day.
Yeah.
Open all year, by the way, right? You got pike, you got lake trout. We just started fishing the lake trout here for the first time in 3 visits or whatever. We went out there and right off the lodge here, and Anne's caught one. We lost one and caught one within an hour, so like that, a nice one.
I want to mention that too because it's really important. This is not much different than any other lodge in that most of the good fishing happens right here in front of the lodge because everybody, ourselves included, first thing you want to do when you get in the water is you just want to take off. Like you want to head out there into the wilderness, and you should.
Hell yeah.
But
you can't
that
fish,
means
there's no fish around a boat launch.
Exactly.
Is there? Never.
That means that every fish that lives here never sees anybody on top of them.
Yeah.
So we changed that up yesterday, and holy mackerel, there are more giant fish. And talking to the staff here at Hawk Lake, because they don't obviously have a lot of time to go out and fish all day long, but when they do get a 10 or 15-minute break, they just go right here on this reef, right in front of this veranda that we're on.
This point right
and
here.
And they get 26, 27, 28-inch walleye.
Give me a hell yeah.
Yeah, I'd say hell yeah on that one.
I would say that for sure.
For sure.
But not us. No, we run all the way down to the very end.
You know what, though? Don't be... It's kind of a misconception. This is not a big lake.
No,
this is this is a perfect sized lake that you can cover in one of Teddy's boats, or you bring your own boat too, or whatever. Like we bring ours, obviously, because he's got a launch here. But it's not a huge lake, so you can cover the whole thing in a 4-day trip. You know, you got north to south, and then the little arms that go up and down too. So it's a perfect sized lake, and it's perfectly laid out. This is a big basin out here, right in front of us, and then if you go down to the south, that goes into these arms. It's still deep, but there's like channels, and it's very smaller. There's lots of protected water. It's got it all.
We'll talk to Ted about this in depth in a few minutes, but I just want to point out, you mentioned the satellite fishing opportunities, the outback lakes that are available here. We were looking on the map this morning at breakfast. I just cannot believe the amount of accessible fishing that there is off of this lake. And you might say to yourself, I know I do, well, why in the hell would I come all this way and then not stick to the main feature, which is Hawk Lake? Because the other I don't know, 20 or so opportunities that are 20 minutes away, half hour away. From what we've heard, I've not experienced. I know you did once, right?
When it was small. Oh yeah, it's perfect.
They're breathtaking. So,
perfect. You drive your boat up to the shore, you have a little landing point, portage point, whatever, not portage, just a landing point, and you park your boat there. You walk in with your gear, and then you put another boat in the water in another lake, and have at her.
And have at her we're going to, because in a couple of minutes we'll bring the man on himself, who is going to tell us a lot more than what we're unveiling to you about this incredible opportunity. Now, it is a little bit far. I don't want to be negative, but we got to find some negative things about this place. And it's not negative to me, because I also drove my family down to Disney many times when they were growing up. And it's about the same drive. Yeah. And we used to make a trip of it. So this would be no different. And I'm talking about folks who live in the GTA or thereabouts.
It's funny, we talk to a lot of, like the guests are mostly American guests, and they all drive less than we do. We're in Canada, driving to Canada, and they drive like 10 hours less than us. It's crazy.
It's hard to believe.
It's hard to believe. I think a lot of them, 10 to 12 hour drive is a kind of an average, I guess, around here. So we were talking to people today from Kansas, and they're from all over the place.
Nice folks,
that was a long drive for them too.
I spoke to a couple of guys yesterday. They've been coming for 30 years. They're in their third ownership of the lodge that they've been here through. Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's dedication, and that doesn't come by luck or by chance. That comes with having an operation that just beckons you to come back. You have to go back, and that's what this is. This is one of those few places, I think, anywhere, not just here in Ontario or even Canada for that matter. One of those places that there's a little bit of magic that you really can't put your finger on it, but there's a little bit of magic happening here that just grabs you by the soul and says, you got to get back. Or better yet, you got to bring somebody here that has never been here before, like a family member or a friend.
I think you should buy this place. You and Stephen this week should team up and buy this place.
Yeah, well, we'll talk. We'll see.
Maybe Teddy will sell it to you for a good deal.
I got $1,000 on me, so we'll see when he comes on. Maybe he feels like selling right now. Who knows? Do you know the Invasive Species Centre? Sent us a note here while we're on the road. We communicate with them while we're on the road.
We do, yeah. They get a hold of us and they have a new ad there for you.
Brand new.
Come on.
There's some new wording.
Wow.
Come on now.
Well, let me just tell you, folks. We're talking about a beautiful, pristine part of the world, wilderness galore. You would think it's oblivious to anything touching it and destroying it, but there is something out there that we have to keep an eye on all the time. Not that it is anywhere near where we are right now.
Yeah, there better not be in this lake.
Exactly. It's called the grass carp, and the folks from Invasive Species Centre want to remind you that you as anglers, we as anglers, have to do our part, and that is be vigilant. Keep an eye out for this critter. It hasn't taken root yet in Canada, although there are a few cases, and there's DNA evidence where we might start thinking it's already here in the Great Lakes. But in the meantime, what we need to do is stay on top of things, make sure that we can identify it when we encounter, if and when we encounter it in the field. We know and are equipped to deal with it properly, which would be, in your case,
I'd get a hold of AsianCarp.ca
because I thought you were going to get the bonker out.
No, I've changed. I'm a changed man now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do tell.
Well, because when I get in a northern environment, I breathe this fresh air. Because down in southern Ontario, it's not this, right? It's not this. You don't look out and see this anywhere, right? So, and then I start thinking about my billy club, my baseball bat, my shotgun, whatever. I just get these odd thoughts going through me. Then I come up here and I say, okay, we'll just AsianCarp.ca. That's all.
For those of you who are tuning in maybe for the first time and haven't heard this wonderful message for the last, I don't know, how many years have been, Dean?
It's been like 120 episodes.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Let me remind you one more time. The danger with grass carp, if they get into our environment, is they consume a large amount of vegetation. They up to 40% of their body weight each and every day. And some of these critters can grow up to 80 pounds. So you can do the math because I can't. But that's a lot of hay.
It's a lot of good old weed bed, buddy.
So it doesn't take long for them to completely devastate an environment, an ecosystem for that matter, if they do get in. So with your help, with our help, and with the help of Invasive Species Centre, we can possibly do something to keep them at bay. There you go.
Come on now.
Our next segment is brought to you by fishfindermounts.com. Coming to the show will be Ted Putnam, momentarily owner of Hawk Lake Lodge. This episode is brought to you by Sail. Sail is proudly Canadian and stocked with over 100 Canadian brands you know and love.
From rods and reels to sonars to kayaks and every last lure you've seen on the Fishing Canada show, Sail has all the gear to get you on the water.
Drop into one of 12 stores across Ontario and Quebec and talk to the real fishing specialists, or gear up online anytime at sail.ca.
Sail, the ultimate destination for your outdoor adventures. This episode is brought to you by Angler's Leaderboard and its photo measure feature. Angler's Leaderboard makes every catch count by integrating seamlessly with their patent-pending AI-enabled fish measurement board. Now you can automatically measure catch length and detect species in seconds just by using your smartphone camera. It's fast, accurate, and reduces handling. So now you can release healthier fish and keep fishing for the big ones. Learn more at anglersleaderboard.com.
All right, before we move on, I did make one mistake. I was very proud of myself when we went to that quick little break because I thought, wow, we got through all that with no script, no nothing, and look at me go. Not.
Look at Hugo.
That segment, that whole part of the show was brought to you by J&B Cycle and Marine, not to be confused with JBCyclemarine.com or just cycle.com. They got so many monikers, it's hard for me to keep track, especially when I don't have it written in front of me.
They are the largest Prince Crab Mercury dealer.
No way!
Yeah.
In Canada?
Ontario, for sure.
Well, then
maybe
Canada.
in Canada, maybe.
Quebec would have
I think
Quebec might have something to say about that.
They got
well,
that big boy there.
Canada. We did say Canada. Let's get specific on that.
My.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Well, you're doing the sound effects
I
now
have a
yourself.
different board open, so I have to do some of my own.
But that was very
Come on
well
now.
done because of that, because of your statement. He put a real, personal one in there. Oh.
And now, without further ado, the man himself has finally joined us. His name is Mr. Putnam. I call him Ted. He lets me call him Ted. Owner of this fine establishment, Hawk Lake Lodge. Teddy, my man.
Teddy.
You have a lot of energy for 9 in the morning. I'm impressed.
For an old guy.
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but that too.
Welcome to the program. I don't think you've been on. Have you been on our podcast before?
I've been on the podcast, but not the video part. I'm always calling in because, I live in the States. Obviously, you don't. So
You
it's
live
the
where?
first time we...
What city? What town?
I live in Boston.
Boston. Okay.
There's a bunch of bullshit.
Let's not go too far there, Dino.
Yeah.
We have, by the way, he's out of control most of the time, so do excuse us in advance for anything he might say that offends you.
Noted.
I love when Ted and Angelo get together because Angelo's a diehard Leafs fan, Ted's a diehard Bruin fan,
Why?
Because you two you butt heads so perfectly together. It's so much fun. What? You did better.
He doesn't understand, Ted.
It's a good rivalry, and it gives us something to banter about.
fun.
I mean,
But there's
it's
no
too
need to
bad
bring it up
Toronto's,
now.
it's fun to watch.
It's entertaining.
Okay, forget it. Okay, Dean, just scratch that. We'll just get rid of that video.
Come on now.
I'm going to post. Speaking of that, then I wasn't going to say this, but I would like to take a little wager.
Oh my God!
no
Here
more
we
wagers.
see.
Not now.
If
Maybe
you would take
last
it,
year.
if you would take it, I would like to put a wager on. I don't know, a friendly amount. You pick it. That the Leafs will win the cup before the Bruins do.
There's a bunch of bullshit.
Normally I wouldn't take that, but because the Leafs pretty much always choke, I'd be happy to take that bet. Even though the Bruins suck right now, it's still kind of a done deal. You guys, you just can't make it happen.
Oh, it's so painful.
So true.
Teddy,
So
if
true.
only you knew every time you send me those little, nasty things when we lose and we're out of the playoffs. It hurts so deeply.
Truth hurts. I'm sorry, buddy.
I know.
It is what it is.
Anyways, I'll tell you what doesn't hurt is being here at Hawk Lake Lodge. And I know we probably, it sounds like we're overstating it, but I've yet to bring anybody up here. We've got some crew members that are up with us that have never been here before.
That's correct.
And I had been telling them and bestowing upon them the virtues of this wonderful place, and they thought, quite frankly, that I was overselling.
Yeah, just another lodge, right?
Every single one of them has said, "Oh my God, you're absolutely bang on."
Yeah.
Congratulations again for just running one of the, the premier lodges. Certainly, I'll go on a limb and say the very best walleye lodge that we have ever seen and been to. And hats off to you, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, well done.
It takes a lot of work from a great team, of which we have the best team I've ever seen in my 35 years of working in the business. And, it's not just me. It's everybody. It's everybody.
Right. How does a Bostonian kid end up here?
Well, I mean, just like you said, Canada has some of the best fishing in the world. So if I'm going fishing, I'm going north. And I was bopping around from place to place in the 90s and the 2000s thinking, wow, this is God's country up here. I had a midlife crisis. I said, well, why am I not up here full time? And at the age of 40, I decided to throw everything, caution to the wind, and let's just go buy a lodge, having no idea what I was doing.
You'd never owned a lodge before?
Not in a million years. And, I had no idea what I was getting into, and that's a different podcast.
Had you been here before?
Oh, I'd been here. I was a guest, and
Okay.
it looked like a great dream. And,
What was the
wonderful.
fishing like when you first came here?
It was
compared
excellent.
to now?
It was very good, but the walleye fishing wasn't really promoted all that much because it was sort of an afterthought. It was always a big bass fishery.
Really? Okay.
But when I started catching really big fish, I realized we had something magical here. And as we've talked on other podcasts, immediately I went to catch and release because I wanted to enhance that. And 15, 16 years later, I mean, look what you got.
Oh my God, your average is ridiculous. The
Pretty
size,
wild.
yeah, it's crazy.
I do want to touch on this not to be negative, but I do want to touch on this for just a moment because we talk about this operation a lot. And look, sometimes with the scientific community especially, they say, well, I don't know, that type of management might be a little too tough. Where you've got an absolute no-kill policy. In fact, just to bring that full circle, if somebody wants to have a shore lunch here, walleye shore lunch, they can, but it's not local walleye. I don't know where he gets them. I don't know what. I don't even want to know. But he will fly walleye into your shore lunch, and you'll have a great walleye shore lunch. So he doesn't even keep fish to entertain and influence the clientele by consuming them at shore lunch. So talking to the scientific community, they're saying, "Hey, man, that might be a little too strict, because you have to kind of manage, you have to put and take and keep it balanced." And we always say, well, we get it, but you can't argue with success. And we're telling you that is one hell of a successful operation he's got, and the fish keep getting bigger, stronger, more. How do you explain it?
It's actually pretty simple. There were scientists around in the 16, 17, 1800s where they were all managing the fisheries and had limits and all that stuff. No. I mean, if a fishery in general should be able to manage itself. Then you introduce man, and you can even make it better.
You sound like our previous prime minister who said the budget will balance itself.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to go there. Thank you very much. Not in these political times.
Yes.
But the fishery should be able to manage itself. So I took a hands-off approach, and the results really speak for themselves. And I've been doing this 15 years now. And as you know, in one of the prior podcasts, I track all of these classes of fish, and you can see how they've just come back and rebounded. And last night when you were fishing, when we saw you guys fishing, you noticed that, gosh, we're catching smaller fish now. There are all these healthy classes of fish coming up.
Yeah.
I didn't really do that. The fishery did that.
Right.
And all I did was just put the limits in place, so we kept putting them back.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. So to all those scientists out there that say we need to be culling fish doing this and that, well, I'm sorry, I just don't agree with that. That's just a bunch of BS.
How's that work? Oh, sorry, Dan. How does that work throughout all your smaller lakes too? Is it the same thing?
100%.
Yeah.
Everything goes back.
But I mean, is it still a great fishery? Every lake you have out there?
Now, we only have 3 or 4 walleye lakes of the 20-plus lakes we have.
Right.
And those are the ones I'm really kind of taking a keen eye to.
Yeah.
And the smallmouth will take care of themselves. As long as you have a predator fish, i.e. pike, right? They're doing just fine, right? The pike get big, the walleye, the smallmouth aren't stunted, and it works. Where it doesn't work is if you just got a smallmouth lake and they go berserk and then they are stunted.
Right, I got you.
So they all take care of themselves, really. So I just really concentrated on the main lake because I wanted to see how big a trophy fishery we could sort of create. And it's crazy. I mean, the average size walleye, the average is like 24 and a half inches. That's the average size fish.
We were doing that last night. They were
honestly
insane.
Up until last night, we've often said to ourselves when we come up here, how is this even possible? There are no small fish. We know basic science. You have to have small fish first in order to grow them into large fish. Well, here, we had never seen a small fish.
Yeah, we honestly had.
Because as Ted just said, 24-inch average is kind of the norm.
And they're eating real good here, the small fish, because yesterday Ant's got one with a minnow in his mouth that big. There's a story to that one. They're laughing because there's a good story to that one, but we'll leave that.
That's a different podcast.
That's right.
Easy there, guys.
That's right. So I've asked you this before. I'll ask it of you again. What's the next step? Where do you go from here? You've obviously created a unicorn in terms of, I think, a drive-to fishing experience. I think I'm safe in calling it a unicorn. There's nothing that we certainly have ever experienced as close. Where do you go from here? Or are you just content now? I did it, I polish it every day, and I admire it, and I'm good with that. Or are you looking to...
No. I think if you're going to be successful in any venture you do, you shouldn't rest on your laurels. I always want to make it better, always. So yes, I've done everything I possibly can to make it better, but that doesn't mean there aren't other things. So interestingly enough, we send out questionnaires to everybody that comes up here, and the first thing I ask is, it's not did you have a great time or something like that, which is very common. I said, what would you like to see? So this is for everybody. So we get lots of ideas, and that's all I do all winter. I go through the ideas with my wife and some of my senior staff, and we decide, well, what's the next step? What's the next evolution? So, for example, we've got an old building here that is kind of dormant, and we're thinking of creating a stargazing place. We're going to have big, high-power telescopes where you can come out at night and look at the stars, with really cool monitors and stuff where the things will automatically adjust to Mars or whatever it is. Yeah. Like, how cool would that be?
That would be awesome.
We'll having an after-dinner cocktail, and so we're always thinking of things like that, like something that isn't really the norm, but be kind of like a wow or a cool factor. That's all I do about it. I look for cool factors.
The cool factor, too, and what you're talking about right there with the stars is in Northern Ontario, where we are here, people have no idea from the south how the stars, the sky on a clear night is ridiculous.
Stunning.
It's stunning. It's lit up, and you just see millions upon millions of stars out just by your with your eye, naked eye.
And Northern Lights, too.
And the Northern Lights,
which a lot of people in the southern states have never seen Northern Lights.
Yeah. So
a lot of people
cool.
here don't, when I say here, I mean in Ontario, don't realize that we have them here in Northern Ontario, right? They think it's the NWT and beyond.
Arctic. Cool.
How about, I know that Dean Taylor, our producer, is into...
Come on now.
Of course he can push that button. You know what I mean? Of course.
We're getting there, Dino. We're going to be dead
on. He's all about physical fitness and all that. And it seems to me you have got the perfect landscape to build some kind of a trail that folks can either...
Hiking trail?
Well, hiking, but maybe even a little more aggressive type of thing.
That's interesting because that's getting pretty big nowadays. It's called ecotourism.
That's it.
That's huge. And I got a few of my colleagues in the Manitoba area that are doing very well. That's something we are definitely considering, where you don't have to fish to experience everything around you. In fact, most fishermen up here, the fishing is almost secondary.
Well,
so why not talk about a little ecotourism side of it, where you're going out, maybe you're sleeping in a yurt, you have a naturalist with you, you're pointing out all the wildlife, of which it's everywhere, the flora and the fauna. That's something that is probably coming within the next 3 to 5 years, where we're going to expand that business. Go out in a canoe on one of these lakes and just look at the beavers and, and look for moose and bear. And I think that is the next wave of this tourism industry up here in the north.
A good friend of ours, actually, he was an editor and still is working with Pine Post Productions, our mother company. He just took that direction too, and he has built a little bit of an eco deal happening just outside of Toronto, but he's putting little domes, these sort of glass panel domes where people can sleep out under the stars.
It's so cool.
And they still have running water and air conditioning and all that stuff, right? So it's that movement is upon us.
It's huge. Sure. It's huge.
Okay, let's now get back to what those folks really want to know. Talk to us about the opportunities here. What is prime season? Are we in what you would consider to be prime season right now in the month of June and July?
That's a loaded question. I mean, you're talking about prime for a walleye?
Well, I don't think I'm going to come up here for, I might go and take advantage of your humongous, vast smallmouth bass fishery that you've got. I might do that, but I'm not going to come here for that. Let's be honest. Or your pike fishing. Let's be honest. I'm coming here for your walleye fishing.
Okay.
All right.
So when's the prime season? Yeah, I mean, obviously it's from the open, which is mid-late May, till probably mid-July when the water gets warm. Now, that being said, because you're not catching lots and lots and lots of big fish, a good day is a dozen really big fish, 26 plus. You can pretty much do that all summer long. So what happens is you go smallmouth fishing in August, and as you guys experienced last night, and you get into a spot for an hour and a half, 2 hours every night, it doesn't matter if it's August or it's June, those fish are going to come shallower on the flats and start to feed. Yeah. So to say that you have to come in June just to catch big walleye, it's sort of a misnomer. I don't agree with that at all. You can come almost any time. I mean, you've got 18 hours of daylight, and if you catch the right spot at the right time, it doesn't matter when you're here. It really doesn't. And as you noticed, if I go fishing at night for like an hour.
Yeah.
And I'll go catch 7 or 8 fish, and boom, you just made my day. So I don't have to hunt fish all day long. I just go hammer them and then come back and go to bed.
Now, that is absolutely no bullshit.
Oh,
okay? Let me put that right on the table. Teddy, for the last 2 or 3 trips up here, has been saying, you guys are doing good, but you're missing the real bite. It happens at 9:30 at night, and it happens in this one spot, and, you're there for maybe 27 minutes, and then you're back home. Yeah, okay, Ted. Well, we got a show to shoot, Ted. We'll see you tomorrow. Anyways, last night we thought we'd finally take him up on it, and wow.
Yeah, wow, there you go. In fact, I had to call you guys over. I'm like, guys, here we go. They're biting. I'm not making this crap up.
They came in early yesterday.
Yeah, boom.
Wow. By 10 o'clock, it was all over. Lights out. Let's get back for a nice, soothing whirlpool on the veranda. By the way, every cabin here has got, am I right?
Every cabin has a hot tub, personal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, where do you get that?
Yeah. Another thing that people, you can do, if you're a real diehard angler, and you want to get the big walleye, you split it up. You do walleye early morning, late evening. And if you want to fish all day, the smallmouth, obviously the walleye is tougher through the midday, right? The sun, blah, 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 blah. But then the bass fishing usually gets better or as good right throughout the whole day. So you could literally catch 30 or 40 bass per angler and get a trophy walleye in the morning, trophy walleye in the evening. You'd have one stellar day every day. You know what I mean? That's the way it works here.
That's the draw.
Yeah.
And if you can go pike fishing or go lake trout fishing. We have one lake that has tons of crappie. We had a guy here last week, Jason Halfin, who caught 50 crappie in a day on one of the outlakes, and they were like 12 to 15 inches long. They're dinner plates. He just crushed it.
Wow.
So you don't have to be looking at one species. You can mix it up and have fun and experience the whole gamut here, and not just sit here and hunt trophies all day.
And there's no extra cost to go to the outlakes, correct? You just got to sign up. It's all inclusive.
You're the only boat on those lakes. You just sign up and away you go.
Wow.
Which is kind of fun.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Mentioned about the self-imposed management tools that Ted has in place at Total Release Fishery. Have you ever had anybody that wasn't aware of that until they got up here, and then all of a sudden it became a problem?
Well, when I first did the self-imposed thing 15 years ago, I had to get the word out pretty quick. And so, yes, in the very beginning, but now it's all over the website for one. Two, I make it abundantly clear that when I'm communicating with new people. But honestly, between you and me, you being a little older, it's a different generation, right?
Yeah, that's
right. That generation back in the 70s and 80s are used to keeping fish. This generation, they're just here for the experience to catch the fish. So it's not really much of a problem. And every once in a while, I'll get a call and people are like, how many fish can I take home? And I said, well, this isn't the place for you. And I'll happily recommend them somewhere else. Yeah. But people are here just to have a great time anywhere up here. And a lot of the lodges are the same way, which is nice to see.
Absolutely.
Dean, did I mention this segment is brought to you by FishfinderMounts.com, by the way?
You did mention that, but I appreciate you doing it again.
No, I'm just saying because I see it here. I did a handwritten note because I got no notes today, as you may have noticed, even though we're on the road. It would be nice to have something that we could go by, but I kind of did it myself. I took it upon myself, and I just noticed it, and I just
every now and then you do it by yourself, right?
Listen, you mentioned age. You're never too old to do that, to write stuff down.
Yeah, exactly.
By yourself.
Absolutely.
For yourself.
By yourself, son.
It's amazing how you make it through the day here, Ange. I'm just shocked.
Oh, you haven't seen half of it, my brother. Hey, anglers, want to turn your next catch into a competition? Well, check out Anglers Leaderboard, the new fishing platform that lets you track your catches, join friendly competitions, enter tournaments, and see how you rank against others in your region. Use your phone and the photo measure board to automatically detect length and species. No more guesswork. Whether you're fishing for pleasure or to compete, ALB makes every catch count. What's your ALB score? Well, get Anglers Leaderboard today and start climbing the ranks. Visit anglersleaderboard.com to learn more. We are leaving here today. This is our last day, unfortunately, but we are moving on to our next shoot.
Cedar Island Lodge.
Cedar Island Lodge. All part of the 40th anniversary season that will be commenced January 8th, I believe, Dean.
That sounds right.
Yeah, January 8th of 2026.
Can't be the first Saturday, the 8th, can it?
No,
7th,
it can't. That would
7th
make
maybe.
sense.
I was guessing. You could have, like, God forbid for you to agree.
I was counting. I went to school in Napanee, and there's not very many equations I got right.
All right,
I think that was pretty good.
Okay, what if I had said the 5th?
And I said, that's very possible. If the Saturday's a
5
5th.
and 7,
if there's a
first week, does that work for you?
The 8th is not right.
All right.
Incorrect, sir.
Can somebody in our maybe Nick or Vova can look that up for me and just
Nick's
let me
on.
know.
Look, he's on
They're on
something.com there. I'm not sure what it is.
And we will be moving on. It's all part of our 40th anniversary, which is quickly, a lot too quickly, some people might say, coming on to us. 40 years doing this.
Impressive. Doing what you love. You realize you're blessed, right?
Oh, I realize I'm
That's
blessed.
wonderful.
All right.
Good for you.
It's been an unbelievable ride. And if we were to say honestly, does it feel like 40 years? I don't think any of us can really.
Oh
say
my
it
God.
does.
No.
There are days. We have our days like everybody else's. It's like
some days feel like 40 years. Some of them. Jeez. But
so you'll see this the episode we produce here this week. You'll see it probably in the first 2 or 3 of the new series. And what we're going to try and do with places that we've been to previously, I think most of them are experiences that we've already had, Dean. For this
the majority. There's a few outliers, but yeah.
Because we want to do kind of a walk back through history with the Fishing Canada show and the lodge and the operation to see where it's come and where we've come from and sort of do a neat little package for the 40th. It's going to be fun. We're looking forward to it. And then we can start our next 40th. Whoa. Did I say that? Now, I throw that at you because I understand you have the question of the day for us, a question of the week for us that you'd like to.
Well, that's actually a good segue, and actually,
I thought
this is perfect.
That's what I do.
This was not planned, but I was going to ask. After 40 years, what's the best part, or some of your fondest memories? Is it being on the road with the crew, many of which I assume you treat like family? Is it seeing new places? When you finally walk away from all of this, whenever that is, guys, what are you going to remember the most? What are your fondest memories?
Great question.
I'll start by just saying the exotic locations that we end up at that I would have never been to any other career, any other lifetime or whatever like that. So these places like this, going to BC, going around the entire country, it's just I don't know. I can't make one memory. I can make them all great memories, but the locations for sure on those exotic or away shoots or like coming to a place like this and catching 30 plus. The first day we were here, the first time we ever visited here, we got 30-inch walleye. You know what I mean? Like on a small lake. It's like whoa. You know what I mean? So to me that's the.
Mine is totally different. I probably will quickly forget all of those, but you hit it when you ask the question. It's those little tiny single frame events and episodes that have happened in the 40 years because we were in this business, because we were at places like this. Those special moments that you can never replicate under any circumstances, you'll never be able to replicate. And certainly in my mind, and we talk every time we go on the road, we remember something that happened 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and we just both start laughing. And I think, to me, that's what it's all about. The people that we've met, the experiences that we've had because of this wonderful industry, you can't replicate it. They're real. They were all organic. They just happen from one to another. It just happens,
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. Last year, we spread one of my longtime guests' ashes in one of these lakes because it means so much to the family and to that fisherman and woman.
Yeah.
And you're a part of that.
Cool.
I mean, that's what it's all about at
cool.
the end. And you're right in the middle of that. And it's very touching to see, which is wonderful.
A lot of humorous things happen. A lot of tragic things happen. One that now will be in my data bank to recall, hopefully in over the next, I don't know, how long can I live, Ted? Another 30?
At this rate, I don't know. Hopefully you make the summer.
I will now remember standing in one of the cabin 2 here at this wonderful establishment, standing at the bar area, sink area, and Ted was there with the rest of the crew, and they were frolicking and having fun and laughing. There may have been some libation involved in that. I'm not sure.
A beverage or two?
I think there was a beverage there.
Yeah.
And
maybe.
Nick had, who was out with Dean all day in the boat, had a sunburn. Okay, a bad sunburn.
And Nick doesn't burn. He told me this that
doesn't
same
burn.
day. He says, I don't burn, Pete.
Because Pete and I say, hey, you might want to spread some lotion on. I don't burn.
I'm
That's
Greek.
fine.
I don't burn.
That's cool. So anyways, Nick was sitting next to Ted. And I'm not saying this to be, like, I'm just, because you asked what all of this means to me. That's what it means, right? So anyway, so Nick is telling Ted about his burn, and his legs, especially his knees and stuff, were all red. And he said how much it burned and stuff. And I was listening, and Ted's kind of acknowledging it and stuff. And then all of a sudden, Ted is laying. He's got these beautiful leather loungers, I guess you'd call them. When he was sort of laid back on his lounger, and all of a sudden he throws himself up, and I think, oh, I wonder where he's
going for a leak.
Yeah, right? He's so. What's he doing? And he hauls off and slaps Nick on the leg where he's burnt. Oh,
not my finest moment.
God,
no, but
not fun moment. But
it had to be done. It had to be done.
You asked. There's some tragedies and there's some happy. That was one that will permanently. I saw it all. I saw it unfold, and it was.
That's funny. I just heard.
And
it.
then Ted ran for his life. Yeah. Yes, I hid in the bathroom at that point.
Nick was not a happy camper. That hurt. I've had my back slapped when people have tried to have fun with me when it's been burnt, and it's not pretty. But anyway, it was just one of those things.
Question to Teddy. Ted, for those people that don't know, we've known Ted for quite a few years now.
Does Ted get anything for that question of the week, by the way? Does he get?
He gets a hat, yeah.
He gets a hat?
I don't get a fish finder or anything?
Yeah, exactly.
No, we don't.
He's been chintzing out lately, I've
Yeah,
noticed.
that's
He was
kinda
giving
weird.
away boats and motors and stuff earlier on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now he's down to hats.
Yeah. We have a live scope on the website soon. You can enter that.
There you go.
That's great. Thanks.
Keep an eye out for your name.
Go ahead.
So Ted is a world traveler, an angler that likes to experience the world for different species and that. Is there a place that you've never been to and you really want to go fishing, and for what species?
Oh, goodness. Of course. There's dozens of places.
What do you got? What's the number one? Numero uno.
Okay, well, the nice thing is, like, I now do hosted trips in the off season where I'm going to these places and taking my guests, which is great. I go to Patagonia and Venice for reds and Montana. Up there has to be probably in the Amazon for peacock bass, topwater, like the big fish.
You've never done that, then, obviously.
That's on my list.
Okay.
New Zealand, Lake Taupo's there. Obviously, probably the Seychelles. It's a little saltwater flat fishing. Yeah, I'm trying to knock those off my bucket list.
Nice.
And so I do 2 or 3 hosted trips a year, just trying to knock that off with my friends and my guests here. And hopefully I'll do that until I'm no longer here.
Right on, buddy. Thank you.
Notice he said friends. I don't remember. Maybe you did. I never got an invite to any of those. Just saying.
Well, you're too busy in Vegas there, buddy.
Hey, somebody's got to go down there and do it. Don't blame me. Okay, don't blame me for that. The Amazon peacock thing you have to do because
pretty cool.
We've been fortunate to do it a few times, and oh boy, does it put
Just
a smile on
exotic
your
as
face.
hell.
Those takes looks amazing. Oh,
yeah, and the whole experience. You know what I mean? You're eating something that you think might be from the jungle. You're not sure what you're eating even, but it's all delicious.
One of those trips, we stayed on I'll call it a houseboat only because that was kind of the configuration, but an old dilapidated aluminum rig of some kind, maybe 40 feet in length.
Yeah.
And that was home base. It's where you slept, it was the whole deal.
On hammocks.
On hammocks.
Beautiful.
Up on the upper deck. And you float down the Amazon, right?
Yeah.
What a great experience that was.
Oh,
and you just tow the boats behind you.
The boats
and every
behind
day
you.
you're at a different spot.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going.
That's
I can't
it.
wait.
Anyways.
Good for you guys.
Teddy, we unfortunately we have to leave, man. We got to go.
Seems
to our
like you
next
just
place.
got here. Honestly,
It does.
I know.
It seems like
I
you've been here forever. But
I do want to tell you that you your staff hasn't, although some of the faces have changed, their habits have not, and this staff is, man, They're
my family. They're my family.
They are something else.
Thank you.
They make sure that they look after every possible need. They anticipate needs, which is kind of cool. A lot of places are not good. They're good at following up if you ask, but lack anticipation. Here, it's one of the things that stands out. They anticipate what you're going to ask them, and they've already got it for you. So
we have a whole database on everybody that walks in here. What's their favorite drink? What kind of linens do they like? Are they early or late to breakfast? Do they come in for lunch? Do they like shore lunches? What kind of fish do they like to catch, and how do they like to catch them? And that just makes it easy. So when you walk in, everything's ready to go.
That's awesome.
Right? Down to, do you like Diet Coke or Coke at dinner, for example? And that'll be on your table.
Cool.
And by the way, I just want to mention, not that it's important, but there's a complimentary bar here open all the time.
Open bar. That's a nice draw.
That is a great draw.
Yeah, just because you get to tell fish stories from the day. It's a lot of fun. And meet new people.
Perfect.
I'll bet you get a lot of intel through that.
I get all my intel. Absolutely. Well, what were they going? Where were they going? What were they fishing? Oh, you get all the intel. I mean, you got 20 lakes going. Things change on a daily basis, and that's how we communicate.
So the next time we see you up here, my friend, we'll probably just need to come for one night. We don't need all the other time. We need one night only. We'll be going out to your spot. We'll be leaving here at about 9 p.m., getting to our fishing grounds 10 minutes later. And by the time we get rigged up, it'll be 9:28. And by that time, it will be mayhem with gigantic walleye.
I'm in.
Hey, we don't need anything else. What else do you need to come up here for?
Well, hot tub up until then.
Exactly. Fantastic.
No words. It's good to have you guys back. It really
Thank
is.
you,
Thanks, Teddy. Thanks for having us.
Congratulations on your 40 years. You should be very, very proud of that.
We are absolutely
sure.
proud. We will run into you, I'm sure, at some of the events that we both participate in. Maybe we'll see you down in Vegas sometime.
Oh, be careful what you ask for. I'll show up. I will show up.
Thanks, Teddy. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
On that note, we got to call it quits because, as we said before, we are on the road, and we're going to leave here and go on to our next adventure. We'll be there approximately 3 hours from the time we leave here. If all goes well, we'll gas up. Yep. Maybe grab a little lunch along the way.
Yes, sir. Well, the boys got to eat for sure.
Yeah,
right?
we do know the boys like to eat.
And I don't mind having fit in there every now and then, too. So.
And Dean, are we doing a podcast from our next location?
Yeah, the next time the audience hears from us, we'll be there.
No kidding, eh?
Yeah.
On that 30-millimeter rain day, we're going to do it probably.
Yeah, it's going to pour.
Because it's going to come down.
And by the way, we forgot to mention the talented Dean Taylor was out fishing this week, and he got 2 gigantic fish. He got a big walleye. That was last night.
Yeah.
But you also got a really nice lake trout as well. And both of them in the same spot with the same bait.
The same spot.
No different baits.
Oh, was it?
Bottom bouncing for lake trout like everyone always does in 23 feet of water in June.
Yeah.
And then...
of course. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, a big walleye and a bobber later on. So
and Nick was with you. He caught a couple of smallmouth bass in that hidden little lake that's just around the corner.
That's right.
Yep.
Top water fishing
water.
like he should be. And all was good. The team all did well. Want to thank everybody for joining us once again, the entire crew. We've got Dean Taylor, we got Bova, Nick, of course, our good friend and
Daddy.
owner of why do I say that all the time?
TP.
Hawk Lake Lodge, Ted
Did you ever
Putnam.
watch the movie Ted?
Of course, that's a great movie.
I love that movie, brother.
kidding?
I love
That's
that
good
movie.
stuff.
That's really good.
Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
This episode of Outdoor Journal Radio has been brought to you in part by the Invasive Species Centre, protecting Canada's land and water from invasive species. Freedom Cruise Canada, rent the boat, own the memories. And J&B Cycle & Marine, your home for all things power sports, boats, and equipment.